we're going to look at the trivia project. Last time we went over the details and got started, and well, let me show you where we left off. By the way, I made a playlist for our videos, so if you miss one or you need to check back, you can always see this is the one from last class, this is the one happening right now, and then I'll add them as we go. And maybe I'll get better with the titles and stuff to make them easy to find and easy to put in the right order. But they should be already sorted in the right order anyway. Now, we've got an assignment from last time that said, here's a description, here's what you're going to do. And the most important thing is this page right here. This page has everything you need. It's got a tutorial to get your code. It's got an example of what the code looks like when you do the tutorial, which is what I showed last time. You got to start, you got choices, each one gives a result, change a color, waits a few seconds, goes to the next one, etc., etc. And then at the end, I'm not going to do it all. At the end, it would say the score. That would say like, oh, you got 5 out of 6 or whatever. But this page has a lot more than that. For example, in my other class, they were doing in my second period, they're doing the same thing, and they found that they were having trouble with the spreadsheet. So I showed them this page that has very specific instructions on what to do with that. And quick tip, if you're ever watching the videos on here, I turn up the speed because the guy talks slow. I mean, I always talk slow in real life, but for some reason on these videos I go faster sometimes. And then if you don't like that, that's fine, but that's what I recommend. The step that we missed last time for anyone who tried is you have to go to File and then Publish to the web. And that makes it available for people to access it without actually going to the page, but stuff like our JavaScript, pulling the questions in order to display the next one. However, let me show you, these guys graciously shared their spreadsheet with me to be used as an example. Don't look at the answers. There's one problem, which is that if you go to File, Publish to the web, you want to publish it for the world and not just Greater Clark. But you can't because the student account has this checked and it's like gray checked, so you can't undo it, which means you got to send it to me first, and you got to do the thing where, let me hit publish so that these guys can use theirs as the questions now. But unfortunately, and I asked some of the tech guys if we could change that where you can publish for the web, but until that happens, you gotta have me do it. I know it's annoying. The way to do that is to go share it with me and then check the owner box so that it makes me the owner, because then I can publish, and then it doesn't actually change anything about your experience. You can still edit it and share it and copy it and do all the stuff you want to do. We'll experiment with me sending it back and taking off the owner, but I don't want to try it now because it probably would undo what we just did. It would probably take the restriction for Greater Clark into the locked-in zone, and then we wouldn't be able to do anything. But these guys, if they put this URL section, the unique part after, at the end of the URL, if they put that in their code, in the part that says, like Google Sheet link equals whatever, that will give them the right stuff. Is this what I want? Just trying to show the JavaScript. Where is it? I don't remember. But whatever. If if you go through the template, you end up making this stuff. Oh, here it is right here. Google Sheet link goes to the example one that has those questions about, you know, the perihelion or whatever it was asking about. If you switch out this for the unique ID in your sheet, it'll work only if it's in that publish to the web state. So anyway, I posted on Classroom with that tip, and then one other tip, which is that if you follow the tutorial, it might have a mismatch between, I think one time it mentions code.js and then another time it mentions script.js. So if you change either one of those to match, it can say anything you want. It can be called like Pikachu.js as long as it's the same in both. If the script source name is the same as the actual script source file, then it'll work. So I made mine say code. Some of yours will say script. Some of yours will say anything else in the world. It's fine. It's just that I know on one groups they had theirs called script because that's the default in Replit, but they had code in the template code that they copied and it didn't work, and we found out that's the reason why. So keep that in mind. This will happen a lot when we're trying this stuff. We'll find out little issues that we can fix with one step, and then I'll post them for everybody. Anyway, good recap. Now let's get to the new stuff for today. Today I posted an assignment, and it has two things, and it's going to take a little bit to get it all organized, but that's okay. So once you have your group, you're going to fill this out. It's called a team contract. It's going to say our topic is this, whatever your questions are about in the trivia. Maybe they're going to be about, you know, different types of chicken nuggets. I don't know. And then you're going to say your members with your name and email, or student ID is fine. And then it's going to have the links. Where is your project? So like the Replit link, and then the link to your spreadsheet. And I know I'll probably get this in other ways, like if you share the spreadsheet or you ask me a question or post this in a Google Classroom reply on one thing. But it would really be helpful to have it all in one location so that when I grade it at the end, I can open this up, see who did what, when, where's the link, etc. If I have to go through all the different Google Classroom posts, it's going to take a million years. Plus, I want to kind of make this a commitment, so that's why it's called a contract. Is, you know, take a day or two to decide and get everything locked in, and then say it is locked in. If you end up changing something, like if you change the topic, if one person gets added to the team or whatever, or if you end up tossing out that project and having a new one with a new link because whatever reason, put them on here and say, hey, here we changed this, and here's the reason, and here's why, because that's what you would do if this was a real project for a business or a government or a school, and you promised something. You'd have to say, oh, we're changing the dates because this, or we're changing the, I know this happens all the time with games, is that they'll put out a trailer, and it's like, it's 60 FPS, and then the game is really 30 or something. And then they have to go, oh, well, we ran out of time and we had to blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to treat myself as the customer here and complain like people complain about that stuff. But in any case, I do like to keep a record of any changes. So that's the plan. But before you do that, we got to know who the groups are. So I put a spreadsheet that everyone can edit, and it's going to have the groups. So here's one: Aiden, Wesley, Gavin. Did I spell those right? Probably. And they are going to put their IDs in here. Now, they've already shared the docs with each other, so it's not super necessary, but let's do it just for the record. But for other people, it probably will be necessary, because let's say you're Jonathan and Katie, And one of those people is in the room right now, and one of them is at home right now, so they don't have a connection. Like Jonathan can't say, hey Katie, what's your number? But if he puts his ID here and then she makes a Google Doc and shares it with him, then instantly they got it. They can share, they can chat, they can get to work. These two guys are sitting right next to each other. But if we add a third person, how will that one share it? You know what I mean? So today I'm going to look through these, try to add a third person to these groups, try to get some people for him, check the ones from last time, because I think a couple people declared their groups, and I'll add them to the spreadsheet. But there might be some that I just create, you know, take 3 people and put them together with no request, and so they will use this to contact each other. You can all edit this and you can all view this. So that's what I'm going to do right now, probably for the next 10 or 20 minutes, is to go through here, assign a few groups, rearrange a few, talk to a few people, and then during the day today and tomorrow and the next day, they can make a replit, share it with each other, make a spreadsheet, share it with each other, get to work, fill out the contract, fix the basic, you know, errors that come up, and then we'll all end up with something cool in 2 or 3 weeks. So I've got nothing in the chat, and I'm going to end this video because it's already long enough. So yeah, I definitely hope it's not an hour long. What is that?